That was incredible.
Sony's official Halloween sale kicks off with some incredible savings for the first 3 games that I definitely have to recommend as must-haves for any PSVR 2 owner. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe, that way you can save, because I do these sales videos like every week, if not every 2 weeks, whenever Sony puts the PlayStation VR2 games on sale. Again, I do believe the first 3 games are absolute must-haves if you do own the PSVR 2, and the first one is Resident Evil 4. It's normally $53.49, it's 50% off, making this one $26.74, and absolutely this is worth full price if not more. And I gotta say, I was not expecting the classic arcade platform action in full life-size VR. That was incredible. Oh, here it goes, right. Oh, dude. That looks good. What I mean by this is that there was no compromise for the VR conversion whatsoever. I mean, I'm literally doing flat screen challenges full blast in life-size VR. There's no other way to describe this. You know, having tasted this in Resident Evil 7 and 8, but this game was relentless. Like every level was full of action, and I wasn't expecting that. I knew it was a classic game from like 25 years ago, whenever that was, on the PS2 maybe. But yeah, let's just say I was pleasantly surprised with the entire experience.
Down the pins. That's awesome.
And if you've watched any of my videos, all of my games I'm recommending, you play these in room scale VR.
Far more natural, and I do believe that is why people don't get motion sick doing it. So when you hit your options button, go to options, VR controls, locomotion, controller. Pressing forward, looking around, I'm still able to move forward, guys. Still able to pull back and look around without him moving the body. When I press forward and move my body completely, look, he's turning around. It knows. It feels so natural. The moment I use the right stick, and I'm, a VR veteran, I actually start to feel a little nauseous because I can see that subtle frame rate dip versus this is just butter smooth with my head. It really is. Like, look.
And for all of you that are getting this game for the first time, I do have to speak to this really quick. The VR mode is not built into the game right away. You do have to go to the PlayStation Store, find Resident Evil 4, go down to the bottom there where you see add-ons, and then you'll see that free VR mode there. Once you've installed that, then load the game up, and then you'll be able to use your PSVR 2 Sense controllers. Otherwise, it reverts you back to the DualSense controller and the flat screen cinematic mode, which a lot of you wouldn't even know that that's not the VR mode whatsoever. And of course, every time they put this game on sale, they do include some add-ons, and as I go through these extra DLCs, I'm going to speak to what is available in VR and what isn't. So in VR, you can use the Resident Evil Deluxe Weapon Sentinel 9. It's normally $2.99. It's 25% off, making this one $2.24. Or you can purchase the Weapon Skull Shaker. That's normally $2.99. It's 25% off, making it $2.24 as well. You can even use these accessories in VR, but you're not going to see them on your face. You might see them in a cinematic mode when they're showing Leon, that sort of thing. This is normally $1.49. It's 25% off, making it $1.11 total Canadian. And the other one they're offering is a bunch of costumes. This one's called the Casual Set for both Leon and Ashley. That's normally $5.49. It's 25% off, making it $4.11. And the next costumes available for Leon and Ashley is called Romantic. That's normally $5.49. It's 25% off, making it $4.11 total. But the next DLC, it says specifically the actual filter is not available for VR. This one's called Costume and Filter Hero. It's normally $3.99. It's 25% off, making it $2.99. And even though I've mentioned this in the past, I've never actually shown you what it looks like. I did grab a quick screen grab, and this is what the Hero filter looks like, which completely looks washed out to me, comparing it to the original. So I would not recommend this. And the other filter set that is not available in VR, this one's called Costume and Filter Villain. It's normally $3.99. It's 25% off, making it $2.99 total. However, just showing a quick example of the Villain filter and what that would look like, again, compared to the normal version. The whole normal version looks stellar to me, so I don't know why anybody would want to do this, but unless I'm missing something, please let me know. However, the next DLC is available for you to use in VR, and it does sound like the coolest piece. All of you out there who have played Resident Evil back in the day, number 4, you will love this. Original version soundtrack swap. It's normally $3.99. It's 25% off, making it $2.99. And right from the PlayStation Store description, it does say you can switch this up, pausing the menu and going into the extras menu. And of course, this can be used for the main game. However, it does not work for the Separate Ways DLC, which again is not in VR, so don't worry about that one. And the next DLC is available in VR. This is called the Treasure Map Expansion. It's normally $5.49. It's 25% off, making it $4.11. And quite simply, in the game, you do automatically have this treasure map, and this simply just gives you more items on that treasure map, if not a couple extra items that weren't in the actual base game. And the location of those additional treasures can be confirmed in the main game map area there. But get this, some of the actual treasures you obtain in the main game using this expansion pack can be used in the Separate Ways DLC. So it's right there in the description, Sony's official statement there. You can see it for yourself. And if all of that interests you, you can get the bundle. It's called the Resident Evil 4 Extra DLC Pack. It's normally $26.99. It's 25% off, making it $20.24. And again, just showing the list of all the content that we just went over and just speaking to this. Again, not everything works in VR. It's giving you an actual bullet form here, what's compatible and what's not compatible. So it is really confusing, being honest with you. However, I do not recommend any of this extra stuff. Just get the base game, especially at this sale price. That's all you need. That's all I needed to play the game, loving it and playing it all the way through. And the last piece of DLC that is offered still for Resident Evil 4, this has to do with upgrading your weapons using tickets. The first offering they have are individual tickets. They're normally $3.99. They're 25% off, making them $2.99 each. And you can see there's an A on this one, and they're labeled this way because you can only get 6 of them. And then after that, you can't buy any more individual tickets. That's why they're labeled A, B, C, D, E, and F. However, they do offer a triple pack, normally $9.49. It's 25% off, making it $7.11 total. Again, lettering them A, B, C, and D. And then they offer one 5-pack. That's normally $13.49. It's 25% off, making it $10.11. And then there is a letter A there. However, again, that's the only one that they're offering. And just to speak to this, it is confirming that you can use this in the main game, of course, and the Separate Ways DLC. Again, that Separate Ways DLC is not in VR, so it's just speaking to all the things you can do with it. And back in the day, Resident Evil 4 did include The Mercenaries, which was another free game mode where you're simply doing these timed mission objectives and you're seeing how well you can do. That's really the gist of the whole thing. So this is, again, not in VR, but if you love all the extra stuff that Resident Evil comes with, you can play this for free. And for all of you out there who are unsure and don't think that this game is for you, I highly encourage you to check out the gameplay demo for free. This game is revolutionary. And of course, the other equally important game that you do have to get on the PS VR2 is Resident Evil Village. It's normally $49.99. It's 60% off, making it $19.99 total. And over 30,000 people have rated this 4.69 out of 5 stars, with over 90% giving this 4 or 5 out of 5. Awesome. And again, just like Resident Evil 4, the game does not have that VR mode built into it. You are going to have to go to the PlayStation Store, find Resident Evil Village, go down to the bottom once you see it where it says add-ons. You're going to see that free VR mode. Click on that, install it, load the game up, and then that VR mode is applied to the game. Otherwise, you're playing this huge cinematic version using the DualSense controller there. And unlike Resident Evil 4, which I just went on how amazing it is, this one is actually better when it comes to the VR application in all aspects. Unlike Resident Evil 4, where I felt like there was a lot of the same enemies, grouped together, and you see these zombies, wolves, and all these things attack you throughout these multiple levels. With Resident Evil Village, I felt like every level had a unique, specific scene with this environment set up for that combat sequence. Very cool. So it felt like I was walking through a story instead of a traditional video game that had varied levels with awesome intensity. So they are completely different games, and I highly recommend you get both of them. With Resident Evil 8, they are of course offering all this DLC, and I'm going to go over really quick with you what does and doesn't work, just like I did Resident Evil 4. And the first DLC is not available in VR, and I've never said this before, so thank you again for everyone participating in the comments section, letting me know what does and doesn't actually apply to VR, because I wouldn't have known this, and I did double check into it, found the PlayStation Store description, you can see it right here. But for all of you that do want the flat screen experience, you can get the extra content shop all access voucher. Again, not in VR, I don't know why. It's normally $6.99, it's 60% off, making it $2.79. Even though on the PlayStation Store description under that DLC, you can see it just says it unlocks all the rewards. I had to find the VR mode description on the PlayStation Store, and in there, it gives you the bullet points as to what is available and what isn't. So again, hammering this in, that extra content is not available in VR. That blows me away. However, you can get the Mr. Raccoon weapon charm, and that does work in VR. It's normally $1.49. It's 25% 25% off, making it $1.11. But again, on the PlayStation Store description, it says it's a decorative thing. I thought there was some bonus applied. I did some digging and then found on Resident Evil Wiki, no, it is just a decorative piece for specifically the M1897 shotgun, which it doesn't say that in the PlayStation Store description. So any of you out there, if you didn't know about this, me included, I think it's only for that shotgun. And then if it isn't, please somebody in the comment section correct me and let me know. But you can get the Survival Resources Pack. That's normally $1.49. It's 25% off, making it $1.11. And with that, it just says it includes some handgun ammo, shotgun ammo, a first aid med pack, and a lockpick. So I don't even know how much ammo you're getting. I can't believe they don't tell you, to be honest with you. That's really weird. I just feel compelled to tell everybody because I know there's a lot of Resident Evil fans out there that love the entire series and that would want to know all the information possible. And speaking of which, the next DLC is again not in VR, but I didn't even know this existed until I did these sales videos. In the base game, you do get for free Resident Evil Reverse. This is an online multiplayer game that you play against your friends where you're fighting each other as teams. Then whoever dies, they spawn into these monsters and now they're attacking you. I've never played before, again, not in VR, will never play this, but there are result points that you get in the game. So if you were still playing this, it even says in the description that the online service does not last forever and at any time this game could go offline. So heads up, but I'm assuming it's still going if they're promoting these result points. You can get the 3-pack. It's normally $3.99. It's 25% off, making it $2.99. Or you can get a 10-pack, which is normally $10.99. It's 25% off, making it $8.24. And then they include an actual 50-pack, normally $39.99. It's 25% off, making it $29.99 total. Man, why would you do that when you can buy so many other VR games? So none of that reverse stuff is in VR, but if you love the Resident Evil and you'll play everything flat screen and VR, this does come with your game for free, but not those result points. And then the other significant DLC that you can partially use in VR, this is the Trauma Pack. It's normally $17.49. It's 25% off, making it $13.11. And as you can see here, that is the complete list of items that you get with the entire game. However, you're only able to use the Samurai Edge AW Model 01, Safe Room Music, Go Tell Aunt Rhody, and the Mr. Everywhere Weapon Charm out of all of those things. But the most significant DLC for Resident Evil 8, it's not in VR. I wish it was, but all of you out there that want the flat screen experience and love the Resident Evil, you'll want the Winter's Expansion. It's normally $29.99. It's 50% off, making it $14.99. And with that, there are 3 major modes. The first one being third person. So if you love the classic Resident Evil style, not the fixed camera in one corner of the room, but classic third person, you can play the main story of Resident Evil that way, which, you know, could be fun. I have no idea, just a totally different perspective. And playing off the Resident Evil Mercenaries mode, this one's called the Mercenaries Additional Orders, where you get to play 3 new characters, including Lady Dimitrescu as well as Heisenberg. I don't know who the third one is off the top of my head. And I say it every time, it totally bothers me that none of this is in VR because Resident Evil 7 did a bunch of DLC and most of it was available in VR. Only like 2 or 3 things weren't. And then the third most important piece of DLC, again, not in VR, but important for the entire storyline, is Shadows of Rose. This is the baby that's featured in Resident Evil Village. Your daughter, she's now all grown up, I think 15, 20 years later, and she revisits the location that her dad was at. So that, out of all things, that probably should have been in VR. I'm surprised they didn't include that. If you're totally digging this Shadows of Rose expansion that's only on the flat screen, you can get the Resident Evil Village Street Wolf outfit. It's normally $3.99. It's 25% off, making it $2.99 total. And you are giving Rose a tougher look as she takes on enemies with this jacket that features the logo of Chris Redfield's Hound Wolf Squad on the back. And of course, you can only use this jacket in the Shadows of Rose mode included in the Winter's expansion. But again, even though I just went through all of that DLC with you guys, it is the base game I highly promote you get on sale, and at this price, this is the best I've ever seen it at 60% off. And I do understand a lot of people are not into any of the horror games out there, but I'm telling you, if you own a PSVR 2, you absolutely need to play this. You can check out that gameplay demo for free if you're unsure. And the next game is an absolute must-have. I wish it was bundled with the PSVR 2 because just like Rush of Blood, this game is phenomenal. I'm talking about the Dark Pictures Switchback VR. It's normally $39.99. It's 40% off, making it $23.99. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 10% more, making it $19.99. Amazing. This game is hands down worth full price. I'm not kidding. The amount of content that you get playing this already, and with over 1,800 people rating this 4.17 out of 5 stars, you can see 80% of the audience gave it 4 or 5 out of 5. And I do think those original scores are still lingering and hurting this game because the launch was kind of a disaster where people were saying that it looked like PSVR VR1 based graphics, like a literal blur to it, and I was really turned off hearing that. I'm so glad I waited to actually play the game for that patch to come out and fix everything, and I can say I have played it all the way through since that patch, and yes, it is absolutely beautiful. Everything feels really smooth during the gameplay. I did not experience any of the stuff that people were originally reporting, so hands down, Supermassive Games, you totally fixed everything and made the game awesome. And I really feel compelled now, everyone out there who's heard other reviewers talk about Rush of Blood and how this didn't live up to it. I actually had the opposite experience. I loved Rush of Blood, man. I mean, loved it. And I feel this game is better. I really do. So maybe it's the theme for some people, but I played this after the patch and it felt like I was living in this virtual nightmare. The sound, the 3D audio, you know, is next gen on its own.
Oh, it sounds like somebody's right here, man. Right there whispering. I got a bit of chill.
To see the 4K HDR graphics.
Yep, that fire is incredible. Whoa!
Having my head touch actual branches with headset haptics.
Right on, seriously, I was just about to say.
Being in the dark, seeing these shadows fly around you.
Oh yes, that audio.
Seeing fire light up the room the way it did, it just like, you know, I almost felt the heat, no joke. Everything was so well done, so immersive. I really encourage anyone to get this game because all you need to do is just sit down throughout the entire experience. Again, this is for almost all ages.
What's this, times 10 and times 1? Oh, I see. So those are worth 10. And those little bottles are worth 1. Move your head to avoid obstacles. Oh, neat, guys. Oh, I took that in the head. I felt that too. That's nice.
And unlike Rush of Blood, the amount of times that I had jump scares in this game.
Like, it feels real, man. You can't not just like sit there and take it. Oh! Oh my god. Oh my god. That was incredible. My whole body's still feeling the chills, man. I jumped. Oh my god. I have chills all over my back. That is awesome. And my arms.
I do not remember that in Rush of Blood. I remember the entire experience was a lot of fun, arcade-like. This took the atmosphere to another level.
Oh, that's weird. Oh man, I want to look at the water, but I can't. That's awesome. Feel that. Nice.
So yeah, I do feel that score does not reflect the game whatsoever. It's got to be 4.5, if not higher for sure. And then they include, unlike Rush of Blood, a new Horde mode, and this is for free. It did not launch with the game, so if you do own it, you've never played this before, go on the PlayStation Store, look up Switchback VR, and then find that add-on pack for free. Do play this. This is a lot of fun. To think the game is now $19.99 on sale Canadian, half off essentially if you're a PlayStation Plus member. You absolutely need this in your libraries, and if you just played this before the patch, you need to reinstall the game and load it back up and see how dramatically different the game has been since launch. The next game I've never played before, but I do know a lot of you love this franchise. I'm talking about Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 2. It's normally $53.49. It's 30% off, making this $37.44. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 10% more, making it $32.09 total. With over 2,000 people rating it, it scored 4.66 out of 5 stars, with 94% of the audience giving it 4 or 5 out of 5. And of course, this is the sequel to the terrifying VR experience that brought new life to the iconic horror franchise. As a brand new Fazbear employee, you'll have to prove you have what it takes to excel in all aspects of pizzeria management and maintenance. Interesting. Go backstage as a VIP to help Roxanne Wolf and the STAFF staff bots get ready for their performances in the Pizzaplex. Head into the Fazcade and enjoy classic games like Bonkabon and Phaser Blast. Take care of things behind the scenes in the staff-only section of the pizzeria. Deliver first aid to patients who aren't quite feeling themselves and help animatronics perform routine diagnostics and maintenance. Our food prep courses will help you get the federally mandated amount of value preparing food in the Pizzaplex. Experience all the joys of high-speed food service and get ready to feed some hungry bots. Weird. Head over to the ticket booth to test our e-ticket attractions, such as Captain Foxy's Cowboy Adventure. On this lighthearted log ride, you'll float through the Old West as a gunslinger in search of booty. And finally, if you're short on dread, dive into the world of our sister location. These special minigames are VR versions of classic experiences from Five Nights at Freddy's sister location. These fan favorites brought to life promise to be as fun as they are terrifying. So again, I've never played Five Nights at Freddy's. I have no attachment to that whatsoever. I have no idea what they're talking about, to be honest with you. So any of you out there who do love Five Nights, can you recommend this game at this sale price? I'm assuming with that amount of people rating the game, this is a must-have. And for those of you like me that have not played the first game, you can get Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted Full-Time Edition. It's normally $39.99. It's 30% off, making it $27.99. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 10% more, making it $23.99 total. And over 12,000 people have rated this 4.64 out of 5 stars. Again, with like 92% of the audience giving it 4 or 5 out of 5. Awesome. And I did actually buy this on the PS VR1. You can pay a small upgrade fee instead of paying the sale price here. And I think all it was that I was part of a security staff in this booth looking at these monitors, playing with some controls, and then these animatronics appearing on some of the screens, and then they jump scare you from the side. You know, I just got within a few minutes of it, and I wasn't feeling it, just being honest, right in the beginning after playing so many awesome PS VR1 games. I had no idea that game, you know, took the franchise to the next level, and then they're making millions of dollars on all this merchandise. So I do know there's a huge cult following behind this game. I personally am not one to speak to it because I didn't give it any time. But for those of you that did love it, again, they did include in this PSVR2 version, this is the DLC called Curse of Dreadbear, exclusively for the PS5 and PSVR2. This new edition includes all content from the original Help Wanted plus the Halloween DLC Curse of Dreadbear. And this says it gives you over 50 scary fun minigames and one terrifying package. And of course, you can play the game in VR or non-VR mode. I don't know why you would play this on flat screen after having the VR experience, but they do give the option there if you want to. And the next game I've never played before, I do have to get this because I've only heard great things about this game. We're talking about Ghost Signal, a Stellaris game. That's quite literally the title. It's normally $26.99. It's 40% off, making it $16.19 total. If you're a PlayStation Premium member, you can play this for half an hour to see whether or not this game is your flavor. And with 360 people rating this, it scored 4.42 out of 5 stars, with over 85% of the audience giving it 4 or 5 out of 5. And this is another action roguelike game. However, it's set in the Stellaris universe where you captain your ship to battle a multitude of alien species, partake in dynamic space wars, encounter planet-sized creatures, gather valuable loot to conduct research, and more. No journey is the same. Expect these interstellar space battles where you're going to use the full artillery of the Aurora against enemy armadas. Loot or purchase power-ups like freeze rays, atomic missiles, or even dragon companions. The choice is yours. You're also going to scan exotic creatures for your logbook and conduct research in multiple tech trees. And also there's this asynchronous multiplayer allowing you to scavenge other players' deserted ships for valuables. That is awesome. And alongside the story mode, you're going to have these randomized maps make every session unique. Ghost Signal includes daily challenges with both global and local leaderboards to climb. And if you're unsure whether or not this game is for you, which I was up until I read that description, to be honest with you, you can get Ghost Signal, a Stellaris game demo for free on the PlayStation Store right now. And the next game is for all of you that love the online social interaction VR multiplayer games. We're talking about Among Us VR. It's normally $13.49. It's 40% off, making this one $8.09 total. And 794 people rated it 3.85 out of 5 stars, with almost 60% giving it 5 out of 5, but almost 20% giving it 1 out of 5. And I believe that score all has to do with whether or not the actual game, the experience, is your flavor. This is heavily dependent upon the social interaction, where you're going to be tasked, quite literally, with doing tasks at the same time as everybody else, but you never know who's chosen as the imposter. That might be you actually one round. And the idea here is that you're supposed to do your tasks like everyone else, but at the same time deduce who is the murderer going around murdering everybody. That is the very quick gist of it. There's a lot more actual mechanics to the game that I can't speak to because I've never played it. But you can totally check online. There's so many people that have covered this. And this was originally a mobile game that got extremely popular, and then they reinvented this in VR. And from what I'm seeing, this is the way to play Among Us for sure. And the actual store description says it is a party game of teamwork and betrayal. Grab your crew and headset and launch into the VR version of this hit multiplayer deduction game. Play with 4 to 10 people as you complete tasks to hold your ship together. But beware, one or more random players are among the crew are imposters, bent on sabotaging and killing everyone. So every time you play this game, you're either going to be a crewmate, more than likely, or an imposter. Again, I've never watched anybody play this in real time, only seen the trailer, so I can't speak to this from experience, but I do think this would be hilarious to play in VR. There's just something so special about being in VR and seeing somebody in front of you at life size, even this giant cartoon, waving their hands with that voice in the PSVR2 headset, which sounds completely clear, by the way, if you didn't know. And what I mean by that, it does have that proxy chat where you do hear somebody at an exact distance around the corner. You can totally tell, like in real life, where that audio is coming from. So to be able to sneak around and hear somebody have a conversation, whether the imposter or the crewmate, the whole immersion behind that proxy chat really does create that next gen feel, no joke. And of course, there is customization for your character in the game, and you can get some add-ons for it. None of it's on sale, nor do I recommend, because again, I've never played it before. But there are so many people online that do play this game, and it is cross-platform if you're worried about the amount of people playing on PSVR 2. I have not heard any issues with the amount of people playing online. So if you're into the social interaction games, I do think this is a must-have. The next game is based on a movie franchise I absolutely loved as a kid. This one's called Ghostbusters, Rise of the Ghost Lord. It's normally $39.99. It's 30% off, making it $27.99. Now that said, if you're a PlayStation Premium member, this game is included in your catalog, so do not buy it. 585 people have rated this 3.81 out of 5 stars, and with just over 60% of the audience giving it 4 or 5 out of 5. And I have to say this right away, when I've done some digging, reading other people's experiences, it is meant to be played with friends. You can play by yourself, but the actual game was designed to have friends help you out and have the experience together. I think it is that social interaction with more the mission-based stuff, so purely cooperative from what I understand, with some competitive aspects. And the more that I read about this game, everyone out there is saying, yes, the game is a lot of fun with friends, but it is recommended to get it on sale. So this might be the right price for you. And as you can see right here, there is a ton of DLC already available for the game, so they are supporting it, and they have come out with more and more content, such as the Frozen Empire expansion now, including some of the old characters, which looks really cool. And again, this game is designed to have up to 3 other players across a campaign of gripping, ghostly encounters. Revive teammates with a high five, supercharge your squad strength with equipment upgrades, and team up to save the city together. And they also include these other game modes, such as Heist and Seek. Chase down the bank-robbing Polterheist brothers while competing with your teammates for individual riches in this fun and frenetic game mode. Interesting. Now, for those of you that did buy the game already and you wanted all the DLC, they do offer the full Containment Edition upgrade, but it's not on sale. But for all of you that have not purchased the game and want everything all at once, you can get the full Containment Edition. It's normally $62.99. It's 30% off, making it $44.09. But if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you save 10% more, making it $37.79 total. And on the PlayStation Store, it shows you that you're getting the character costumes, equipment skins, and it just says additional bonus content. But from everything I'm reading, for instance, Ghostbusters Wiki, it is saying it includes 4 equipment skins, 10 additional playable avatars, and a Slimer hunt feature and collectible, and more. So I do think every time that they release the game, the new DLC is included with the full containment, whether or not they adjust the price. But yeah, apparently the game is a lot of fun with friends to play. And the next game is a very unique experience where you're dueling other people online 1 versus 1. This one's called Broken Edge. It's normally $19.99. It's 45% off, making it $10.99. If you're a PlayStation Premium member, you can play the game for half an hour to see whether or not it's your flavor. But 121 people have rated this 3.81 out of 5 stars. Half of the audience giving it 5 out of 5, but you can see the rest here, it's completely mixed. Broken Edge is a 1 versus 1 VR fantasy sword fighting game where you embody iconic warriors and deadly duels. Claim victory in the arena as a fierce samurai, a valiant knight, an untamed ronin, or one of the 5 other fighters, and more. And what's completely unique about this game is that each warrior wields their own weapon, coupled with their own distinctive martial style and stances. Learn and master their art of combat to awaken the energy of your blade and dominate your foes online. Choose your fantasy based on your favorite fighting style. Again, you can duel as a knight, a samurai, a duelist, a ronin, pirate, Viking, Persian, barbarian, and tyrant. This claims to have cutting-edge fencing mechanics where you move and swing your sword freely as you would in real life. Rely on your tactical skills to block incoming blows and break your opponent's sword at the point of impact. Interesting. Feint, slash, parry, smash. Use your best moves to strike your enemies. Hone your skills in the dojo or engage in solo mode. Take part in the global contest to climb the ranks online. I didn't realize there was a solo mode. Here I am thinking this is only 1 versus 1 online and that's it. And then it says fight and interact more intuitively with the new eye tracking system. Interesting. Anybody who owns the game has played it. If you can please let us know in the comment section whether or not we should grab this at the sale price. That does sound like a win to me. And the next game I think will scare some of you out there. This one's called Kill It With Fire VR. It's normally $19.99. It's 50% off, making this one $9.99 total. If you're a PlayStation Premium member, you can play the game for an hour first to see whether or not it's your flavor, but 270 people have rated it 3.78 out of 5 stars. Over half the audience has given it 5, but you can see the rest again completely mixed. Kill It With Fire has been around on the flat screen for a long time, but the VR version means the ultimate freedom to hunt and destroy mankind's most ancient and deadly nemesis. Kind of like the classic movie Arachnophobia, you are an exterminator hired to take care of this spider problem in a town. The game claims to feature tons of unique weapons and equipment with 8 different spider species, realistic fire simulation system, there are dozens of optional objectives, don't know how that works, with loads of hidden upgrades, and then you can battle in the Arachno Gauntlet. Again, I wish I knew what that was, I don't. And then it claims to have a secret ending. From everything I'm seeing here in the trailer, it just looks like a classic roguelike pick up and play arcade action style game, which, you know, I've always enjoyed typically. But I don't think this game will scare me. Anybody in the comments section, if you can please speak up whether or not we should get this game at the sale price, that would be awesome. And the last game that's on sale, I actually didn't even know existed. This one's called Horror Adventure bracket PSVR2 because it was on the PSVR1. It's normally $13.49. It's 85% off, making it $2.02. And incredibly, almost 3,000 people have rated this 2.57 out of 5 stars. But over half the audience gave this 1 out of 5, and almost 1/3 of it gave it 5 out of 5. So very mixed there. So in doing some digging before putting together this sales video, this obviously is a budget title, and it claims to have procedural generation, but from multiple reviews, it changes how you walk through the house, but the rooms themselves are the same, if that makes sense. They don't actually change the rooms up, so you do see the same shit all the time, essentially. Even though it does claim to have jump scares as its warning, yeah, I didn't hear a lot of people talking about it being that scary. You know, it's decent from what I understand, decent. And for $2, I mean, I'm not expecting anything, but if it's okay, even for half an hour, that might be worth it. But if you're unsure, what's really cool, these guys are offering a Horror Adventure PSVR2 demo for free. So yes, I highly encourage you check that out. Normally, I feel like the developers only provide demos if they're confident people want to play their game. So good on them for doing that. So yeah, check that out. That said, that is all the games that are featured for the Halloween sale going on until November 2nd at 3 a.m. if you're in North America, or November 1st at 7 p.m. if you're on the east side of the world. If you guys like this video or any of the sales videos I produce, please click that like button. And if you love what I'm doing with the channel, please subscribe to it. And for all of you that have subscribed to my channel, thank you so much. I super appreciate it. Until the next one.